5% of our population is youth. 60% of all voters are also youth, and majority of them are affiliated with religious organizations such as the NCCK. My ministry is responsible for ensuring that, amongst other things, the youth are equipped, empowered, involved, and protected with the aim of making them self-reliant and creators of jobs, not just consumers of jobs. Government is funding various programs to support the youth. There are challenges that only you, the youth, can and must face head-on. We have had some people promising you analog solutions as part of a new economic blueprint to bring you prosperity. I am a student of economics, and I do not see how the successful economic uplifting of our people can be carried on with outdated solutions. We can and must do better than this. I must add that some of these far-fetched economic fantasies are anchored on falsehoods, sprinkled liberally with proclamations of sanctity by leaders who should know better. I can only pose, where has the church been when some of these falsehoods are being perpetrated, sometimes from the pulpit, by these misleaders? This has already been said earlier by the young people here. And for us to have a wholesome youth, for a wholesome society, society must endeavor to tell the truth, even when it hurts, because the truth shall set us free. However, a scarcity of truth in our society in general, and I dare add some of our churches as well. The church should be the pillar of truth, the beacon of light that should shine on these dark falsehoods by false prophets. To a large extent, some churches have not lived up to this expectation. The main problem, as I see it, is that these churches have been silenced by, say, massive donations from politicians who have been gifted with the pulpit to preach the gospel, sometimes of division, and to nudge citizens towards a class war. These Bible-waving politicians have especially targeted the youth because they think wrongly that the youth are gullible and easy to manipulate. Do not be led down the garden path. Do not be lied to. You must expose these peddlers for who they are, snake oil salesmen who will go to any extent to gain political power. You must see beyond the smokescreen and unmask these people who are out to take advantage of you. During the Sermon on the Mount, this is Matthew 7:21, Jesus warned against false prophets, saying, "Not everyone who calls me Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven." And similarly, in our society, remember that not everyone who proclaims their religion by shouting from the mountaintops, "Bwana asifiwe," and hallelujahs at every opportunity means well. For some, their actions betray them. It should be for some of these politicians, they should not just proclaim their religious bent, but they should live it through pious actions and deeds, if indeed they are God-fearing people who care for this country. As the Cabinet Secretary under whose docket youth affairs lies, I'm privy to the hardships and desperations the youth are facing, which has been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Hustle today should not condemn you to a lifetime of hustling. Heed the advice of Proverbs 18:21 that says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit." You can change your world by changing your words. You can do all things through him who strengthens you. Philippians 4:13. I have seen, having worked extremely closely with the president, some of his closest friends are the ones that are fighting him the most because he chose not to allow this country to be plundered. Earlier, youth spoke here talking about everything is about money and what people can actually get out of money. And so when you stop people from doing some of these things, they become your worst critics. And they want to fight you and they want to stop you from the direction that you're going. But let me say that as a government, we have been making concrete steps to cushion citizens, and in particular the youth, against economic hardships made even worse by the pandemic. We were planning to ameliorate some of these hardships by pledging to shift more resources mashinani through the BBI initiative. But it wasn't to be. Judicial activism took care of that. Yet we saw some leaders fervently thanking God the Father for the adverse court ruling. It is a classic case of not seeing the forest for the trees. They missed the bigger picture because the whole issue was politicized and anchored as a power hunt rather than a noble development initiative that would devolve more funds to the people. That would provide 7 years tax holidays for the new young businesses, 35% to the counties, and so on. In my opinion, what the judiciary has done in dismissing the BBI is to usurp the role of Wanjiku in deciding her fate. They have opted to settle political scores at the expense of the common man. However, despite what happened, the government will not be deterred in doubling its efforts to spur development across the country, and in particular supporting the youth to become the core pillars of our development agenda. The one thing that seems to be lacking in the country is truth. And since here we are with the church, the archbishops and the bishops, it was important that we talk about the truth so that people can understand where we are. Many narratives are being given to our young people that are not necessarily truthful. To say that, we're children of God. We're made in God's image. So to put in our minds that we are hustlers and nothing else is wrong. We may be hustling. We may be doing things that require you to do, but it doesn't form who you are. The youth can become the leaders. They are more than 60% of the voters, 75% of the population. So majority of Kenya is youth. And therefore, they can take charge. They need to feel that they are owners of this country as well. And a lot of the conversations that we've had here have been very clear. The youth themselves know this. And they've been waiting for guidance, and our aim is really to ask the church to really show them and tell them where the truth lies, so that all these conflicting messages that are out there are cleared, so that this country can move forward. Wholesome youth, wholesome society is the theme of this conference, and I'm really thankful to the NCCK for organizing this forum where youth can come and have these deliberations, and they can do this in the context of God. Many people have been using the name of God in all manner of places, saying things that, in my view, are not necessarily true. To thank God the Father that we did not have money to the counties cannot possibly be correct. Why would God not want us to have money in the counties? Why would God not want us to have, in terms of youth getting the 7-year tax holiday? Why would God not want us to have the youth commission so that the youth can take more control, more charge of their lives? I don't believe that these are things that we should just be accepting. And that's why I'm calling on the church, the bishops, archbishops, really tell Kenyans the truth. When it is said out there, you must. Otherwise, we'll continue to go around and be lost. Let me not say more than that. Time that we focus on the things that are important and that truth must be told. Asanteni. I don't speak for other cabinet secretaries. Right now, I have been engaging with youth. And every day, we have conversations. They are suffering, but they are being cheated every day by people. By your boss? By people. And they are being cheated. And really, it's not fair. So that's why I'm actually angry. And I'm saying, Kiumane, people must know the truth. And this thing of using God, God is the one who has said this, God, wapi, where? We are here at a church place. So I feel protected by God because what I'm saying is the truth. Yeah? So anyway, I hope I'm answering you.
So your boss has been lying to people?
Now you went to school like I did, so you can infer what you want to infer from there. If he's the one lying to people, then I have many bosses, so I don't know which one you're talking about. Huh? And number one is God. So God has never lied to any of us. So, yeah. In Court of Appeal president, he was elected to that position by IEBC, which they now say that IEBC is illegal, was not constituted. What does that then mean for that Court of Appeal? Are they constituted or not? Because if they are saying that IEBC was not set up properly, then it means they are saying everything IEBC did from the time the others resigned is not valid. In which case, this is just activism. They should look at the country. I'm saying they should give us answers, not to just say no to things, and you're not saying no, but go this direction. They are also parents, they are also Kenyans, they also have livelihoods, so they should care for this country. It is not that the country is for everyone else except them, and this is why I'm saying that it's activism. I don't see. So are they saying even their ruling is off? Because they ruled that IEBC was off. I can talk many things, but I'm not a lawyer, so. So there is an attorney general and others. Let the people, we stick to our lanes. This one, let me stick to mine. They will decide. But there are some fundamental things that the court ruled on, that if they are not appealed, then the country cannot move forward. So I leave that to the decision of the...
One of the people who...
So today, without BBI, Raila is out there campaigning to be president. So what is this leadership that he was looking for in BBI that he cannot get? So he was not looking for another seat for himself. He's still running to see if he can become president. The president, Uhuru Kenyatta, is not running. So some of these lies, this is where I'm saying the truth must be told, need to be dealt with. We're trying to change a country. We're trying to move the country forward. We're trying to change lives. People are currently suffering. This COVID is affecting everybody. So we must deal with those issues now. Now these sideshows of saying what or what, I don't want to go head on with people. I'm not a politician, so I'm not even going to try. But, a time comes when truth must be said, when we must deal with the reality. And the reality is that the country is suffering and we must focus on the way forward. So for them to be saying BBI is just for positions, which positions? There are 27 constituencies that will be disappearing. So what are those people going to do? They're not going to get their CDF funds. There were funds that were going to the ward fund. That is not going to be there. How can surely that be development? So that's my position. I'm not a lawyer. Let's see if that will go to the Supreme Court. But at the end of the day, the youth of this country, and that is why I'm here, very passionate, are the ones who will decide. If they wake up today and decide so-and-so will be the president, so it will be. And they can choose one of their own. And then they can decide with whether they are going to change their constitution or how they are going to move things forward. So from that perspective, I am very confident. Kenya is safe. God takes care of us. And I've seen that in many ways. So the truth will eventually be known, and the truth will set all of us free. And that is why I'm asking the church really to come forward and tell people the truth. When people are using God's name there, they're using it in vain. And wakuje kanisa waseme.
Church and community and political leadership to prioritize the issues of concerning the youth. This should go beyond talk and should be reflected in inclusion of youth in leadership and budgetary allocations. The national government, through the Ministry of ICT, Innovation and Youth Affairs, to accelerate the implementation of the Kenya Youth Policy 2019, we call upon the ministry, and we are happy the CS is here, to deepen the partnership with different stakeholders so that there is an enhanced coordination of interventions and programs targeted at the youth. Number 3 is county governments should accord adequate budgets and programs to the youth and young people. Number 4 is security agencies should stop being a terror to the youth. The youth are citizens, and they are not a problem to be solved through brutality. We have seen some young men die in Embu, and we are hoping this is the last, and that this matter will be investigated and those who are culprits brought to book. Therefore, advise the youth to strongly resist those who intend to hire them to engage in violence before, during, and after the elections. Remember, those who use you to engage in violence will dump you once the agenda is realized, and you'll be left with no benefit. Violence does not pay, and only peace in the nation is going to assure the youth a bright future.
On behalf of the women and the ladies who have come, and the young ladies who have come as part of the youth, and higher and more heard than our voice that was prevalent.
Men, I want them to be in hoodies and we celebrate them. Let us put our hands.
Society, teaching them about the word of God. have a lion. Our ICT minister is a lion, and you're